make sure that it makes sense financially, okay? So don't put yourself and your business at risk, because ultimately what you're gonna do when you do that is you're not serving your members well by doing what you're supposed to be doing, staying open and making people healthier, okay? Find somebody to help you out with this stuff, okay? You need a coach just like everybody else does, and if real estate is not your thing, you need to find somebody who real estate is their thing and have them walk you through the process. All right, guys, welcome back to Jerk Block Talk. I'm Jason Fernandez. We are here at CrossFit Rife. And today we're going to talk a little about something that hopefully at some point all of you will go through, and that is either buying a bigger space or expanding in place from where you're currently at. As you guys can tell, this is not the normal gym. We actually started our expansion about a week ago, and we're gonna just under, we were at about 6,000 square feet. We're gonna be just under, right at 11,000 square feet. So we're just shy of doubling our square footage. I'll show you around real quick. So this is just one of the rooms. The weightlifters will move in here. So if you guys have seen this, this door right here goes into our main space. Out here is gonna be another gym area that will be outfitted. And then back here, we're gonna have like a lounge and more office space, more amenities in there. So, kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is, not that I'm a real estate specialist or anything like that, but what I learned in the process, so that if you guys are going through this and you have no idea where you want to start with this, I can at least give you some advice and kind of what we went through when we did it. And first and foremost, before you start looking at space, before you start negotiating anything, you should have a third-party person run through your numbers and make sure that the expansion makes sense financially. Full confession, I talked myself out of this expansion no less than a dozen times over the years because it's what I wanted to do. And had we done it then earlier, we probably would have put ourselves in financial hardship. So make sure that somebody can verify what you're thinking and the numbers that you're looking at. I had a phone call with a business coach about a week ago who was completely objective, nothing to do with the world of CrossFit or my business. I gave her all the numbers. She said, hey, you're in good shape. You've made all the necessary plans so that you can do this and take a couple steps backwards to take, more steps forward, which should be expected when you expand. So she made me feel better about that. And I felt a lot better about moving forward and signing the lease. Second, make sure, find somebody, unless leases and commercial real estate is something that you do for a living, find somebody to help you through the process. Find somebody, and I don't necessarily recommend you can do this going with a broker because that can add some extra fees, and usually the owners of buildings don't necessarily want to deal with a broker because it's money off the top of the whole deal. So find somebody. And what I recommend is reach out to the people in your community and find out if any of them have any experience with that or if they know somebody. Sit down with somebody and have them explain this whole thing, this whole process for you from A to Z. Have them talk to you about stuff like pro rata, pass-through fees, what's appropriate, what is appropriate for a price per square foot. Are you going to be paying a gross lease or not? CAM, stuff like that. So if you don't know what any of those things mean, you have no business signing a lease. And I'm not a specialist, or do I know a ton about this, but I know a lot more now than I did 6 months ago, because as I started asking questions and I started asking somebody to help me, I understood all the things that I didn't know. So that's the first thing you want to find out. Find somebody to help you walk through this, and when you get the lease, have them read over it, send it back to you, and then you guys can go back and forth. You're gonna learn a lot in the process, and you're gonna feel very, very safe about your decision if and when you decide to do this. The third thing is give yourself tons and tons of time. And this is just purchasing in general. You do not want to rush signing a lease because you're probably gonna make a poor decision at that point. This was an adjacent space to our current space, which has been empty for 4 years, and it still took us more than 4 months to negotiate everything that was gonna go on in here. So it's gonna take longer than you think. They're gonna send you a lease. You're gonna go back with a counter offer. They're gonna sit on it for a couple weeks. They're gonna send it back to you, and you're gonna go back and forth between that. And you just need to find out what you agree on and what you don't agree on. So don't put yourself in a bind where you have to sign a lease in 30 days because now you've lost all the leverage that you have. So tons and tons of time, and don't do it until you're ready. You don't have to say no. There will always be more spaces available to you. And then the last piece is ask for the moon. This is something I was not comfortable with because I just didn't understand how this whole process worked. And I had somebody sit down with me who does this for a living, and they're like, you need to ask for everything, okay? I got to the point where, like, right before I signed the lease, I asked them for one more thing just to see if I would get it, and I got a no. But I was very, very happy with what we got, because what the landlord told me, he was like, hey man, don't ask for any more because we've already given you more than I've given anybody else in 30 years. So I was kind of not sure if we were getting a good deal. And but when he told me that, I was like, okay, I've asked for the appropriate amount of stuff. You know, you should be asking for things like, you know, abated rent. You should be asking for TI potentially. You should be asking for you know, a whole host of things, like maybe upgrades to certain things, but just make sure they're not rolling those costs that they do back into your lease. And if they do that, you should know that they're doing that. So just questions to ask on there. So make sure that it makes sense financially, okay? So don't put yourself and your business at risk, because ultimately what you're gonna do when you do that is you're not serving your members well by doing what you're supposed to be doing, staying open and making people healthier, okay? Find somebody to help you out with this stuff, okay? You need a coach just like everybody else does, and if real estate is not your thing, you need to find somebody who real estate is their thing and have them walk you through the process. Give yourself tons and tons of time, because more often than not, this process is gonna take way longer than you think it is. And then lastly, ask for way more than you ever think you're gonna get. You'll probably end up right in the middle and getting stuff that you want. So I think this is cool because we're kind of documenting this whole process, and you guys have been watching the show for the past year and a half or so. You get to kind of see the evolution of the gym. This is just another evolution of the gym, and you guys will see a lot more of that in coming weeks. But hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, please drop those in the comments. If you have concerns or anything like that, comments that you want to know about, I won't necessarily be able to answer those for you, but I can put you in touch with some people who are way smarter than me when it comes to real estate, expanding, finances, and all that stuff. So if you like this content, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you next time. Thanks.